RecTech Grills, built by grillers for grillers. Smart grill technology. You can start the grill from your phone. You can cook the protein, the meat from your phone. It's nice to have you in. This is the herd. So the Rams go to Miami. I think it's a really bad spot for the Rams this week. I like Miami this week. But I told you I have reservations about Tua. That doesn't mean Tua's not going to win games in the NFL. You know, there's a lot of quarterbacks who don't work. I mean, Sam Darnold at the end of last year, you wouldn't say his career is working so far, but he had a winning record last year. Tua's going to win some games in the NFL. I think this game is a very winnable game for Tua. I think it's a bad spot. Rams are on a short week, 10 o'clock start, early, flying east. Dolphins, well-coached, off a bye. It's a good spot for Miami. But let's be reasonable with Tua here. What is a success for Tua? To me, no injury, one or fewer interceptions, in control of the offense. Wins don't care. Stats do not care. If he goes, let's say, 18 for 30, a touchdown, a pick, does not appear on the injury report, I don't even care if they win. If he gets injured, all of our opinions are going to be vastly different Sunday night. We're going to be saying things like, oh, wow, it's not going to be Burrow. It's not going to be Lamar. It's not going to be Josh Allen. It's not even going to be Baker Mayfield. It's not going to work. So to me, can you keep him clean? Can he go 18 of 30, 60%, has a pick, has an interception? Let's be realistic about our expectations. We tend to think, oh, this guy did this and this guy did that. Miami's a rebuilding team. Now, it's a very good spot for Miami this week. This is a great spot for them. Off a bye, with a coach, very good defense. Rams are on a short week, traveling cross-country, an early Eastern game. I mean, this has Miami win all over it. And if Ryan Fitzpatrick was playing, I would love the Dolphins. Tua's not going to be Ryan Fitzpatrick, as Joy has said. Miami fans have won very rarely in the last decade, so they're freaking out. We're on a 2-game winning streak. Tua's about the future. You knew it was going to happen. I have my reservations. Let's be realistic about this. If he looks poised, he doesn't look too rattled other than a play or two, it will be a slam dunk for him. So I think this is one of the most compelling games of the weekend. I cannot wait to watch it. Tua time in earnest begins Sunday. And here is Joy Taylor with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
By the way, Herbert and Burrow, who we love, right? We think they're great rookies.
Right.
Between the two of them have 2 wins, both against the Jags. And we love both. So it's like,
right.
Let's not judge Tua on wins. Let's judge him on calm, collecting. Does he look in control?
Yes. Temper your expectations and realize he's a rookie quarterback.
Against a good team.
The problem is the Dolphins were winning.
Yes.
So Dolphins fans are going to be like, well, what do we do this for? We were winning. And that's hard. It's hard for fans. It's understandable. You want to win. It's more fun that way, but you got to think bigger picture. So there's been a lot of talk that Trevor Lawrence could avoid being drafted by the Jets next year and return to Clemson instead. But Dabo Swinney isn't thinking too much about what his star quarterback could be doing next season.
He's going to do whatever he needs to do. I mean, you know, I'm going to save a scholarship for him just in case. But, you know, I'm not real worried about it. You know, he ain't worried about it either. We'll certainly let him stay if that's what he wants to do. But I'd be surprised if he's back with the Tigers next year. But who knows? You never know.
Yeah, he should go pro.
I'll be surprised.
Yeah, he should go pro. There's some guys, you know, you watch John Morant and Zion. You see some college guys. You're like, well, they're actually pros right now, playing in college.
He is a pro.
Yeah, playing in college. That's
right
what
now.
he is.
But also, what are we just talking about? Tua. Tua was the consensus #1 overall pick in the draft, and then he broke his hip, and then he dropped. Like, it's not like he dropped out of the top 10, but things can happen in the blink of an eye, and then it's a completely different situation. So there's no reasoning behind him going back to college. I think that would be, not that we need to judge what kids are doing with their lives, but I don't think anyone would advise him to do that. That said, there are a lot of things still up in the air. You started in the beginning of the show talking about the Falcons. That was a bad win for them last night. Again, great for fans, great for the players, but overall, if you're looking at the future of the franchise, like, there's a lot of things that could change over the next half of the season to see where Trevor could possibly end up going. Another note on him, he did test positive for COVID, so he'll miss tomorrow's game against Boston College. His symptoms are relatively mild. The bigger story to that, obviously, other than him testing positive, was, is he going to be available for the Notre Dame game? The positive test was Wednesday, so there's a 10-day isolation period, which would end next Friday. And as long as he's symptom-free and for at least 24 hours and test negative, he would be able to play. He also has to pass a cardiac test, which they're doing on college players. But he's going to be the #1 overall pick, and it could be very interesting depending on who's at the top of the draft. Because, look, you never know what could happen. The Jets could rip a couple off. Gardner Minshew is injured now. So the Jags are not in a good spot, as you just mentioned. There's a lot of things that could happen over the next couple weeks, and that would determine the future of Trevor Lawrence in the NFL. So the 2-5 Cowboys head to Philly to take on the NFC East leading Eagles on Sunday. Sneaky huge game.
Oh, yeah.
And Ezekiel Elliott still feels confident that Dallas can make a run for the postseason.
You know, we can't really control what's happened up to this point. We have had a lot of injuries. You know, we haven't played the best in some games, but what we do know is that I think if we win this week, well, are we first in the division? So I mean, we're still right where we need to be. We're still at a place where you know, we can make a run for the playoffs.
He's absolutely right.
But what if they get blown out by 20? Then you got to start selling stuff by Monday night.
Are they going to do that?
Oh, I would think it's odd. I mean, Goulet, you're a Cowboy fan.
Unfortunately, yes.
Isn't this one of these obvious moments you root against your team?
Yeah. My favorite team is Cowboys' opponent for the rest of the season.
It should be. That's the smart fan. You want Dallas, mail it in, Amari Cooper, DeMarcus, whatever you got to do, and get a top 5 pick and go get a difference maker.
Well, if Dak was healthy, then I would say no.
Well, Dak's going to be the future. I'm not saying quarterback, but
Right,
just
so
go.
I'm saying because Dak is out, and now Andy Dalton is likely out as well.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't passed concussion protocol yet. Yes, you are now officially in rebuilding mode.
Yes.
The Dak's not coming back this season, and he's the franchise quarterback.
So sell some picks.
this
Dak
is
will be
not
back.
your year.
Yeah, Dak will be back. Sell some picks. Rebuild your O-line first, D-line second.
But the problem is, well, not problem. The problem is if that's your mentality and you're a fan, that's a problem. But players and coaches don't tank.
Yeah.
Players and coaches are not going to go out there and play halfway. Maybe the last 2 games of the season, if you know you're out of the playoffs, you're not going to be giving it your best effort. But the players and coaches aren't trying to hear any of that. They're trying to win every single week, and they're going to play hard. Now that's been the question of the Cowboys, if they're actually playing hard. But they're still in the race for the division, and that's a big game this weekend. So John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin will be making history when the Ravens and Steelers play this weekend. On Sunday, they will be the first coaches in the modern era to match up against each other 25 times in the regular season. Harbaugh and the Ravens have a 13-11 edge in the 24 meetings so far.
Not many people have an edge over the Steelers last 20 years.
No, and that's really a testament to what those organizations are.
Winners
and consistent. They don't trade in for their coaches every 3 years. Like, in order for that to be possible, you have to be the head coach for a significant amount of time.
Well, Belichick always says it. We're not just collecting players here. Cleveland collects players. Like Pittsburgh and Baltimore are building a business. And they're, Minka Fitzpatrick, that's a guy they're going to keep for the next 6 years. It's not just about collecting players. The really smart organizations draft, develop, sign long-term, and then,
and they have cultures and goals and standards. Fox Bet has the Ravens favored by 4.5.
I stayed away from this game. It's not in my Blazing 5. I liked the Steelers earlier in the week, but as the number came down a tad, I went, I'm gonna stay away from that game. I've said this before in Blazing 5 is a lot of the games I pick are not big TV games because I think sometimes the emotion of a TV game is hard for me to figure out how it works. It's much easier to take a Colts game with Phillip Rivers where it's just a 1 o'clock game. I can take the better team, look at the health report, look at the line. To me, Steelers and Ravens has so much emotion in it.
Yeah, and not only is it a division game, it's the division rival.
And it could have Super Bowl and seeding implications. So to me, it's like, I want to watch that game and enjoy it.
Right,
but I don't.
Not stress about your money on it.
So much emotion in that game. I rarely bet Brady Manning games. It was too much emotion for me. And sometimes players in big games get tight and they underperform, and then sometimes lesser players overperform. I find big TV national games the hardest to bet in the NFL.
There's a lot of emotion and animosity, especially in this game. AFC North, very tough, very physical. But I think if the Steelers win this game, I don't know. You got to put them. You don't, because I know that's not how you do your herd hierarchy.
No, I'm going to put them in the top 10 for sure. For sure. I'll put him in the top 10.
Okay, that's fair.
Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.